Hi everyone, this is Ryan for C3 Consulting, and today I'm going to be talking about the difference between intermediate and final outcomes. So this is a supplement to a blog post, and if you want to see the written text of this version, there'll be a link down below. So an important thing to distinguish when measuring the impact of an intervention on a population group is the difference between intermediate and final outcomes. So I'm going to explain now the difference between the two. So often you'll have studies and trials that will measure the effectiveness of an intervention in terms of some outcome. So for example, intervention A might have had a 30% increase in some outcome, while intervention B might have had a 70% increase in the same outcome. So it's easy to compare the difference between interventions in terms of that same outcome, but which outcome is most important? So some outcomes obviously make a bigger difference to the lives of the poor than others. So here's a definition of the two. So an intermediate outcome can be defined as an outcome which, when improved, is proven to or is implied to result in the change of another outcome. A final outcome can be defined as an outcome which is inherently affected by other outcomes, that is the optimal outcome to be changed. These outcomes are ultimately more important than intermediate outcomes, because intermediate outcomes are essentially the ones that are affecting the final outcome. Without final outcomes, intermediate outcomes are essentially meaningless. So I've got a little table in the text in the blog post that shows a couple of examples of each. So for intermediate outcomes, some examples could include malaria prevalence, test scores, weight, and level of savings. For final outcomes, some examples could include life expectancy, GDP per capita, GNI per capita, and the HDI. So you can see a difference between the two. Final outcomes such as life expectancy are heavily influenced by intermediate outcomes, such as weight, malaria prevalence, and savings. It's important to note here though that a final outcome in one scenario could be an intermediate outcome in another. So for example, life expectancy could be the final outcome in one project, but another project, the HDI, could be a final outcome, in which case life expectancy would be an intermediate outcome in that example. So ultimately, it's best when studying your program to choose what your final outcome is going to be, and then decide which intermediate outcome is going to best impact that final outcome. So I hope this has been helpful for you. If you have any comments, leave them down below, and if you want more information, you can go to c3consulting.com.au. Thanks.